It's time for Talkin Tauntauns, your Star Wars source at AIPTcomics.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Talkin Tauntauns. I am your host, Jim Lahane, and with me as always is Nicole Herview.
Hello.
How are you today, Nicole?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, my friend.
It's
It's a week.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on.
There's just a lot. But no, I'm okay. I'm just, devouring Rebels as, we all knew I would. And
yeah, we just found out that we are literally on the same episode.
on the same episode, yeah.
As if we were watching it live. And we're going to do season 3 recap next week. But this week, we have a special guest coming up in a little bit, Chris Trevas, who is an official Star Wars artist, and he does absolutely phenomenal artwork. But before we get there, there's a little bit of news that we want to go over.
Your Tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker. Then I'll see you in hell.
Hello, what have we here?
So it looks like, according to the official Star Wars social media blitz that they decided they don't do this for all their stuff, but that they really wanted to get out there that Ahsoka has entered production.
Yeah, I have seen that picture with the hat 7 times.
Yeah,
and I hardly was on social media today. And I've seen it so many times.
It was super weird. I'm like, I don't remember them really doing this for, and definitely not for Andor. Maybe a little bit for Obi-Wan.
Little bit. But I'll tell you what's interesting. If this is strategic, if this is like, oh, let's get X amount of people to share it. I saw one person share it that I'm sure if you saw it, you know what I'm about to say. That is like, that's interesting. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. I don't think it's logical that it would. But Sam Witwer retweeted it. And
he's also a Star Wars fan.
He's also a massive Star Wars fan.
So
that's why I'm
it's
not
one of those like.
I'm not looking into it too much, but I was like, if this is a campaign and they asked people to share it, it's also possible that he saw that and was like, I'm gonna do it too. Like that is probably what happened. But I find it really interesting if they did ask him to share it.
It's also he does a lot of voice work outside of
Maul, yes.
Outside of Maul, like I believe he did voice a couple of stormtroopers or something on some of the sequel trilogy. So he's like, it's not like, oh my God, that's Sam Witwer. It's he acted as a background character. So it's entirely possible that he is also doing that here just as a fill-in.
Who knows? No. He could have a little cameo, whatever. The point is, anytime that man tweets, I know. So, but he tweeted, it was really sweet. It was a quote from, I guess, Dave Filoni. That's what he was implying. The quote was something similar to, I expect we'll see a live-action Ahsoka series in 20 years. It took him 10. Like, that was the quote, and then Sam just said it took 10. And I was like, that's really cool and, like, really sweet, and I really liked it. I don't know. I thought it was worth noting that I saw that.
No, it's interesting, especially since last we saw Ahsoka didn't make it out of the temple, so I don't know how we get there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes.
I'm 90, 70, 80, 85% positive we do not find out in season 3.
I didn't think we would. I figured that would be a last season kind of situation. But yeah, I mean, I am more excited for the Ahsoka show than I am for pretty much anything else. Except Obi-Wan. I'm really excited about Obi-Wan. Like, stupid excited. Like, that is something I've wanted for years and years and years. Now, like, Ahsoka's my favorite Star Wars character, so obviously I'm freaking out. But, I don't know. Obi-Wan is, like, my OG, you know?
I understand that. I am keeping my expectations low for Obi-Wan because
that's fair.
It doesn't look like anything I would expect from an Obi-Wan series. And so it's one of those, like, I need to go in with no expectations because I don't want to be like, yeah, that was terrible, because didn't do what I wanted it to do.
Right, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, here are my expectations. I want to see Ewan McGregor do Obi-Wan stuff. That's it.
I hear,
and I think that'll happen.
May get that.
I might get that. So the rest is gravy. I mean, as a prequel girl, you know, as that's my trilogy is the prequels. Obviously, we talked about this many times. Anytime I get to see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, I am happy. And I never thought I'd see it again. So this is just icing on the cake. And I don't care about almost anything that happens around it. I say now, obviously I'll have opinions when we see it. But right now, at the end of the day, I get to see Obi-Wan stuff. More Star Wars is good Star Wars, man. I'm happy already.
Yeah. And looking at Ahsoka, I have... The problem is like, there's so much baggage with Rosario Dawson. And, like, I follow a lot of trans people. I'm friends with a lot of trans people and in that community. And she is kind of a polarizing figure. Yeah. To put it very mildly.
The least, yeah. To say the least, yeah.
And it's all unsubstantiated.
Right.
But it's one of those, like, we don't know who to believe or anything. And so we've talked about it. It was before you were on when she first showed up on the Mandalorian. We had brought it up, JJ Connor and I believe. And she's just one of those, like, can I get excited about the show despite that? Really.
Right. Yeah. And for me, I can, however, I fully understand and support someone who can't. Like that, I get that, and I'm empathetic with that. I'm just kind of removing her from the fact that I get to see my favorite character do stuff.
It's the art and artist,
which I rarely do. Rarely do. My only hesitation is the fact that it's unsubstantiated. If anyone like could show me like, oh yeah, she's definitely like garbage, like with a certain author whom I hate, whose like series was my entire childhood, you know.
Who
I hate
digs
her.
herself into a new hole every week.
Keeps doing it. If it were anything even like remotely like that, I'd disavow her in 2 seconds. Like, I wouldn't hesitate to not watch Ahsoka. I wouldn't hesitate. I just hesitate to spoil a thing a lot of people are going to enjoy. I don't know. It's hard because I want people to be comfortable and happy and, you know, not feel attacked. And obviously this is a group of people that happens constantly, and it shouldn't. And I would put that over, like, trans people's safety over other people's comfort, always. I don't know what happened. I don't know enough about this situation. I don't know what happened.
Nobody knows.
It's one of those. And I hope that nothing happened. I do, but I don't know that. So yeah, I am trepidatious about her as a person. Absolutely. She plays Ahsoka well. That's all I know for a fact is, to me, she plays Ahsoka well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
With that uplifting discussion, let's go to our interview.
We would be honored if you would join us.
And with us today, we have Star Wars artist going on, I think, what was it, 27 years?
Something like that.
From what I looked up on the Wikipedia page, your first actual Star Wars work was back in 1995. The phenomenally talented Star Wars artist, Chris Trevas.
It's Trevas, but that's all right.
Trevas. But I had now.
I know. You know what? Joe Crony used to do that. I let him do it for like years. Don't feel bad. I'm like, you just make me sound fancier.
That's what I said. It's just like it adds a little like oomph.
Yeah. Just a little something,
It's like
a little pizzazz.
people spell my name, they capitalize the H in my last name, and I'm like, that's not right. I'm not French. There's no French in my family. Please stop doing that.
Yeah, I just get terrible mispronunciations of my name. No one knows what to do with it, but it's fine.
It's got too many vowels.
It's got a lot of vowels. It is French, so this is the anyway. Sorry, go on.
Chris, thanks for joining us. I know you are super busy. We are coming up on Celebration in, we just mentioned it, like, I leave in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's weird coming back from, the big break of celebrations and conventions and everything. Like, I haven't done anything in a few years, so it'll be weird just even traveling. But much less doing the big show. Yeah.
So I know we're going to get into your Celebration stuff in a little bit, but I want to know, how did you get into Star Wars? Like, how did your artwork kind of eventually morph into the Star Wars universe?
Well, way back when.
Last century.
Yeah.
The 1900s.
Right? Yeah, back in the 1900s, 1995, or even before that. And I was always a fan. I mean, like 3 years old when the original movie came out. So I was always like, even when I was little, like drawing stuff and like just scribbling TIE fighters and stuff like that. I was really into cartoons like back then, but I used to collect like the Star Wars trading cards and get the Ralph McQuarrie cards, and I'd be like, oh, what is this? Like, oh, they do art before the movie? Like, how does that work? That's how I kind of started thinking down that path, I guess. And then when I was in college is when ILM started staffing up for episode 1. And I mean, it was too early. Like, I was still just starting college or whatever, but I'm like, I gotta try. I gotta send some stuff in and try. And so I put together a sketchbook and some stuff, and it wasn't good enough for ILM at the time, but I had I didn't. I was gonna say I sent it in. No, I went to a convention in Chicago, and West End Games was there. And so I showed them my portfolio that I had put together, like aliens and stuff. And, they're like, yeah, we need freelancers all the time. So I started freelancing in college for them. So that was back, 95, those first early jobs.
Well, West End Games, especially back in like the very late 80s, early 90s, they were really the starting points for a lot of people that are in Star Wars now. Like a lot of the authors and artists, like they took everybody who wanted to do the work. And like a lot of the people are still associated with the Star Wars today.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I remember what year it was. It was early on. I might have graduated. It was like 96, 97 or something. Gen Con. I went to Gen Con for the first time, the big gaming convention. I think, what was that, Wisconsin? And West End Games was there, and some of the other companies I'd been starting work for and stuff. And there was a big West End Games like meeting of everybody that they had there, all their employees, all their authors and artists that were there. And I remember that dinner because it was like, there's me, and then there's like Pablo Hidalgo, Timothy Zahn, Steve Sansweet. Now it's like we're all still in it, and it's like now Pablo's over at Lucasfilm, and it's like I remember that meeting though, and he was just a freelance writer at the time, I think. And
that's what I've been slowly collecting a lot of that old like Star Wars Adventure Journal and stuff, and like I've seen some of like literally Pablo's like mailed in early submissions, and I'm like. Right. Hey, I recognize that name.
Yeah, it's crazy to look back. I mean, that convention. It's like I've met all those people at that show. That was like the first time I'd met Steve, and he signed my Star Wars was that concept screen to collectible book.
That sounds yes, that sounds right.
Yeah. I was like, what's the title again? Yeah, from concept to screen to collectible, with the Vader case on the front and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forget, he signed it to me too. Something like, because I was telling him how I wanted to do Star Wars, and he was like, beware the dark side, especially when working with Lucasfilm. He's like, don't tell anybody I wrote that. I'm like, okay. Except now I did, but it's like 20. I think he's fine now. He's almost retired. So.
Yeah.
Well, he
Probably
no
safe.
longer works for Lucasfilm.
He's not there anymore, so maybe it's okay now. I don't think I've ever told anybody that, but that's what my copy says up on the shelf.
So funny.
That was the first time I met him, so I always think of that. Like, yeah.
That's funny. So you've done a lot of work, kind of both specifically for stories, like in the Millennium Falcon guides and all the blueprint guides that have come out recently or re-released recently. But you also do portrait and print work. So what is like your process? Kind of how does your process differ between working for specific story related pictures versus really kind of doing your own thing that has to get approved for conventions and stuff?
Yeah, it's weird because I work's like all over the place. It's like my specialty is Star Wars instead of a certain style almost. I mean, all my styles are usually very technical and very detail oriented, and that's just the way I am. So that's kind of like where my headspace is, I guess, when I'm working. But I got like the technical journals. I'm doing like Starship blueprints and stuff, and then I might have a short story for Insider magazine and have to do a bunch of scenes and characters and develop that stuff. Or my job's like all over the place. Celebration's cool because it's like where like that's like really the only job that I get to run everything for, like from concept all the way to production. So it's like I'm coming up with the idea, doing the initial sketch and rough drawing and stuff, and sending that off to Lucasfilm, get that approved, go through, get the final, go to the printer and actually press check it and make sure production's like, colors are all right and quality's all there. And so that's kind of fun. And then like, my other jobs, it's like all over the place though. I'm working on toys, working on books. Some stuff will get turned into other products like puzzles and t-shirts and socks one time.
That's cool.
Yeah. Do you own a puzzle of your own work? That just seems like that seems like it makes sense, but like if that was me, it'd be like you literally broke my piece of work.
I have a lot of puzzles too. It's weird. I guess it's an easy thing to puzzle company needs artwork, so they see what's pre-existing and they're like, oh, this hasn't been a puzzle before, and they don't tell me these things. I just find them in the store.
Well, they own.
Oh, wow.
Like, don't they pretty much own your artwork? Like,
yeah. I mean, like once it's out there, I mean, some stuff has to stay specific to a company, or like the Falcon manual stuff. I think it stays exclusive to Haynes for a certain number of years. Or the Celebration prints have to. They can never be reproduced again as wall art. It's a stipulation in the database. So
that's really interesting. I hadn't even thought of that.
I guess puzzles don't count as wall art because my FET Celebration piece did turn into a puzzle. But I mean like randomly when I find puzzles, I'll be like, oh, look at that. And then of course I have to buy it.
Of course you have to buy it. Are you kidding me? Like
buying my own stuff.
So
they know what they're doing.
You're
like, we're gonna pay them.
Yeah, it's like paying them back. Spend my
Yeah, it's like when you work in retail and you get an employee discount. It's like just keep the paycheck at this point. Yeah. Like you're just gonna take it all back anyway.
So
even though my one Celebration print was the one that got turned into socks too, the Slave Leia on socks.
So
Oh my god! Tell me you have the socks. Like you
I
must
did.
have the
I bought them
socks.
because it was so weird.
That's so strange.
I had to have a pair. It was like, yeah.
My goodness.
so
Yeah, and you said you worked on toys as well. So have you held like your art? It's one thing to me to hold like paper that has your art on it, or like a poster board or something like a framed piece that's yours. Like that's one thing. But if you saw like a 3D version of a thing you drew, like that must be trippy if it's happened.
Yeah, like usually the stages, I mean, I work more on packaging stuff. Like
That's
sometimes
fair,
it's
yeah.
sometimes it's packaging diagrams, sometimes it's like front of package, like
Yeah.
character illustrations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've done like, like instruction stuff for like factory paint jobs and stuff. Like use this color and paint this here, design like the wear marks that go on a vehicle or something like that. Like the yellow stripes on the HasLab Razor Crest. Like I did those.
That's so cool.
So it's like weird. I'm like, I was designing it on the screen and then they painted at the factory. And I don't know if I have done some design sketches recently, but I haven't even seen those produced yet. But it wasn't for like figures specifically. It was
Sure.
stands and stuff that like more stuff I could design that wasn't established already. Probably the weirdest thing, because I haven't gotten myself into any recent like new canon stuff, but in the previous EU, I think I appeared in books 4 or 5 times as myself. Like
that
so I had this
drew.
Yeah, I had this ongoing character that was me, and I fit myself into the timeline. Like, in my head, it was like I was born 3 years before, 3 years before the Battle of Yavin. Like, so marking the Battle of Yavin as the release of Star Wars, basically. So it kind of lined up with real life. So I would draw myself at whatever age I was supposed to be, in that illustration. But reoccurring with like the same costume and everything. I think I first appeared in the Essential Guide to Aliens, and I was the human.
That's fantastic.
But then I turned up in like a couple more
I'll have to
guides.
look that. I'm pretty sure that book is like within arm's reach right over here.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm in like 3 essential guides plus a couple of like 1 or 2 Wizards of the Coast books. Oh, but what started me down this path was that I didn't draw it, but at one point my generic little human character became a miniature in the Wizards of the Coast game.
Oh,
so I had nothing to do with it. They had just copied me out of the essential guide. But then I was looking at a tiny little, thing that was supposed to be me. It had like the costume I did and stuff on there.
Did they
and it
realize
came with the trading card with this drawing of this guy that kind of looked like me?
Did they realize your generic human was you, or did they
I
just
don't think they
pick
knew.
human?
It just showed up because I was working on those miniatures at the time, but I didn't draw that specific character. But I think when it came out, I noticed it because I had worked on other characters in that set. I was like, wild. Oh my God, there I am.
It's like, how at the end of movies and all that stuff, it's like, hey, like the depictions of these people, these are fictional and like any similarities are purely coincidental. It's like, no.
Yeah. No, it wasn't really coincidental.
It was you. No, it's like, oh no, that's actually me though. That's wild. That must have been so cool. That's fun.
Yeah,
so
that was funny.
The socks. Go back. We're going back to the socks. I
think they might even be within reach over here.
Is this the artwork? You said it was for the celebration. Is it the print where I think was it Chicago where Han's getting his eyesight back and Leia standing there?
I forget which. It might have been Chicago. It was C6, wherever that was. Is that LA? Celebration 6? I don't know, because it was the second piece in that series. Fett was first at C5. I know, it's been too long.
So related to those, your piece this year, The Princess's Gambit. And you have if you just scroll through all of the official celebration prints, you have a very noticeable style. Like you are super realistic, but still like kind of have like an artistic flair to the realism. And you're really one of the only ones I've noticed that have that, at least in this year's batch of pictures. And so it really stands out. I really like I really like your setup and the art on it in general. It shows kind of Lando, Chewbacca, and Leia planning Han's escape or rescue.
Yeah. And going with like the Slave Leia one, when I was working at it, I was like, oh, that's kind of like my print this year is kind of like how it started. And then
that's
like,
what I was
Leia's like how it's ended.
They seem to you seem to be focusing on this Return of the Jedi kind of like little theme, even like super focused just around Jabba's palace.
Oh, it was totally, yeah. And then I'm still thinking that there's still like kind of the other half of the team too, like, you know, Luke and R2 and 3PO planning their side of it somewhere in the cave, or, you know. So I might have to revisit it again.
Yeah.
Well, that's countless ideas. I imagine they're in the cave, and he's making his lightsaber, or for the deleted scenes, sort of.
Right, the deleted scene one. It'd be cool to do that or something, but yeah, and I've had this idea bouncing around about Leia and Lando and Chewie and the Falcon, just going back to like, even just trying to picture how everything went down between the movies. Like, you know, once we left them in the med bay in Empire on the Rebel cruiser, you know, and then, you know, Luke's going to meet him at the rendezvous point on Tatooine, and then what happened. And at the beginning of Jedi, we lost the deleted scenes, but there was the whole sandstorm thing in Return of the Jedi that showed that Leia showed up separately in a Y-wing, and it was parked next to the Falcon. And I was like, well, what if the Falcon was their, you know, home base while they were planning this rescue, and what would happen? How would they do it? And I was thinking, you know, maybe Lando's infiltrated Jabba's palace already, and he's coming back with like a recon hologram, like to show where Han's at, hanging on the wall, and they can start planning what to do, and how that would all go down.
I love how in the picture Lando's holding the slave collar and just looking at Chewbacca, like one of those, like it kind of reminiscent of The Empire Strikes Back. A New Hope, where Luke's trying to put the handcuffs on Chewbacca, and it's like kind of an expression like, I don't think this is going to go over well.
Yeah, but very Lando about it. I like to talk about acting in art, and I feel like the acting with Lando in this piece is specifically just like, yep, like I believe it 100%. It's like nailed.
Thanks. Yeah, that's really important to me when I'm doing it. It's like, all right, I gotta nail these expressions down, find like, you know, the right picture of Lando's face, like the right expression. And, you know, it took forever to find something for Leia, trying to figure that out. And but yeah, I mean, getting the characters down and their expressions and like what they would be doing, and really, you know, picturing that scene as if it were a real film out, you know.
It like works so perfectly, because you're like, Leia is so focused on the job that she doesn't even care about the two morons behind her.
Right.
Yeah. And Chewie's kind of just like, yeah, try it. We're gonna do this again. Like, okay, great. Like, Lord above. It's just a great moment. But with these kinds of things, with the celebration pieces, it seems like you have kind of autonomy over what your piece is. Like, is there a submission process? Do they give you ideas and you go with it? How does it usually work for something like Celebration?
Yeah, they just have a submission process. We can turn in like up to 2 concepts, and people at Lucasfilm vote on them. And I think they're trying to narrow down the scale of the art show lately, but yeah, it's pretty small this year. I think they only have like 21 people in it this year. But yeah,
is that
it's like
on
just a
their
voting
end?
process.
Or do you know if it's on like just less submissions or they just accepted less?
They just like I don't know if they voted on a certain number or if they were looking to fill like a certain quota. I'm sure they got way more than that, but it seems like they were looking for about 25. They narrowed it down to that, and a few people just from vacation planning, whatever, couldn't make it, so that it dropped down to 21. But yeah, it's just like it's like a blind voting process that they do over at Lucasfilm. But yeah, and then once you're in, then it's just a process that they want to see final when it's ready, and they approve, sign off on that, and they sign off on the printer and everything and all your details. But
so for anybody who's listening who's interested in the artwork, you can, if you go to StarWarsCelebration.com, and I found it, if you go under Explore the Show. Yeah, Star Wars Celebration Art Show. You click on that, you can scroll through the artwork, although kind of annoyingly, it doesn't present your entire piece there.
Oh, really?
Like if you scroll through, it's really just a close up of the three Lando, Chewie's, and Leia's face. You don't get everything else around them.
Oh, yeah.
And then you click on that, and it's about the same. Like you don't see the entire work next to the buy now, which is like you'd have to go to StarWars.com's post
Yeah,
to
that's
see
what I'm looking at.
to see the entire
Oh,
picture.
okay. Yeah. And yeah, Acme's got all the pre-orders on darkinkart.com. But
Okay.
They're handling all the pre-orders this year. So pickups are actually at their booth, it won't be at my own booth this year.
Okay. Yeah, if you click
All
on
the pickups are right in one spot this time.
Yeah,
Interesting.
if you click on the buy now, you do get taken over to darkinkart.com.
Oh yeah.
And it does have all the pictures much easier to see.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like these are only for Celebration. Like you're not shipping them. Nobody's going to be.
No,
shipping
they're
them.
like, you can't ship them. You can't. Yeah, they're pretty strict on it and stuff, and they want it limited to this year and stuff. So, yeah. So exclusive to Celebration. Yeah, it's pickup only. So, but you can order and have someone else pick up for you. As long as they have your receipt number or whatever.
Right.
So
I
Right.
had
Like-
done that last Celebration for a friend.
Yeah, I was gonna say I won't be there this time around. So like if I wanted to purchase something, I could have Jim pick it up for me theoretically.
and I'm individually boxing them this year too, which is going to be a process.
It sounds like
But I think it was the
My
easiest
goodness.
for pickup. Like, since I'm not going to be able to hand them over myself, I figured I could, pre-roll them, get them all ready to go. So they'll be in a 3x18 box. So they can fit in your luggage but not get crushed. You don't
That's
necessarily have to buy a poster tube. It'll.
Oh, that's right. I did
it'll
have to
its
buy.
own.
I did have to buy a poster tube last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
the amount of art/poster tubes I've had at Comic-Con over my many years are embarrassing. They're just in my closet. There's just several of them. You always forget to bring one. It's like, what the heck? So yeah, that's very convenient. That's great.
So I know at Celebration they have literally like what they call the art show. They have an area where a lot of the artists are located, and you're saying that that's where you pick up the art, but you personally are not in this art show. You usually have your own booth.
Right. Yeah. The last couple of years, I've done my own booth. Sorry, I remember. I don't have my booth number memorized. I need to remember that.
I didn't even know if they gave them out. I know they haven't like.
Oh yeah.
There's no available map to the general public yet.
Oh yeah. I
Sounds
only
like
have
fun.
my piece of the map. I don't even have a whole map. But it's like here's where you are in relation to the art show, and some of the other artists that have their own booths. But I don't know what else is around. But yeah, I'll be at 1456. So
Which doesn't
that's-
mean anything now.
I know.
But
yeah.
if you write down 1456, that'll help you if you're at
So it's
Celebration.
like a couple. I think the art show is between 14 and I don't know, something else higher. I think 14 is the one edge of the art show block.
Okay, so you're actually going to be
so
near
I'm
it this
kinda
time.
Yeah, I'm kind of just, well, I don't know the orientation of the building. It's like I want to say north, but I don't know if that's north. It's like up.
It's north if you want it to be.
Yeah, we'll
If the
call it
art
north.
show was south, that's a little bit north. Like if you call the front of the exhibit hall, yeah,
Exhibit Hall North.
I don't know. It a little bit further back in the exhibit hall from the art show. If the art show's in the front of the exhibit hall. But
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of right in that area. Like, most of us artists are over there. There are a few that are in other areas, but I think Brian Rude and I are Jerry Vanderstelt and a bunch of us guys are all right there. Steve Anderson, Russ Walks, like a bunch of us are all right in there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the layout because I've done the Orlando and the Anaheim. One of them is fairly open, and another has like the restaurant in dead center of the convention hall.
Oh,
so it
yeah.
makes the orientation of everything really wrapped around the restaurant, which is weird.
Yeah. I think I'm facing towards the center, but I don't know if there's a restaurant there or not. I think last time it was like the celebration stage and I could see everything going on, but that was Chicago, so
Yes.
so I'm facing towards the center of the show. I think what's the new role playing license company?
Fantasy Flight.
After Fantasy Flight.
There's one
There's
after
somebody
Fantasy
new
Flight?
now. Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
I don't even have any clue then.
They're like in front of me. Like I'm to the side of their booth. But yeah. That's the only glimpse that I have of the map.
Those are the insights. That's the hot
Yeah,
scoop.
yeah.
Like, we know this one 3-foot section.
There's a section over here.
This is where that one specific thing
Couple
is,
blocks,
and where
I know
you'll
who's
be.
there.
No,
And I think the front is
yeah.
I think the front of the exhibit hall is down in my map. It should be.
Okay. Is an event like this, are you working the whole time? Are you able to walk around, be a fan? Like, kind of what does the weekend look like for someone who's
Pretty much standing in the
there
booth.
for work? That's it. Yeah, that sounds
Pretty much just
about
standing
right.
in the booth.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Brian Rude trying to call me. No, not right now. Decline. Click decline.
Declined. Wow. Okay.
I knew he'd
We'll
do
remember
that. Yeah, it's like we're pretty much stuck in the booth like the whole time. I'm gonna try to bounce back with the between the I'll try to visit like the Acme area and the art show area to for people that are picking up over there, but I'm not too far from there. Maybe I'll get a view of the main stage like I did last time so I can watch the video screen up high over people's heads.
Well, I imagine
But-
it's different for you than like other companies because like if you just work for like Gentle Giant, like you're not really the one there, whereas opposed for you're selling your own artwork.
You're you.
Like
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, I
and,
think
like,
we're all pretty much a one-person operation.
Yeah, and so
We're
it's
like usually we usually
and
got
people
like
are
food
there to pick
stashed
up
under
the-
our table. We're like eat when we can. There's nobody here.
yeah. If people are
Quick.
there to buy their artwork,
Quick, eat this granola bar. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have
It's
no
even-
staff to help me.
Oh, bud.
I know I got friends that'll give me a break and stuff, but yeah,
That's
it's
good.
mostly a one-person operation. And yeah, I still remember like I don't remember what year. Oh, well, it would have been whenever Force Awakens came out. That celebration.
2015.
Is that 2015?
I guess it was, yeah. And we're all in the art show. It was before before the exhibit hall opened, and all the artists were in the art show area, and everybody else is over in like the main hall or whatever, and they're about to debut the first trailer for Force Awakens. And we all watched it from somebody's iPhone,
Oh my god.
like live on StarWars.com. Well, it was
Yeah.
like 5 seconds off from live. And so it was
Yeah.
like all of us there's like probably at least 20 of us huddled around one iPhone, and we're like watching it like, oh my God. And we could hear the roar of the audience and like behind the wall. and we'd hear the audience roar, and we're like, what happened? What happened? And 5 seconds later, it's like, Chewie, we're home, and we're all like, yeah.
My God,
But
I'm gonna start a
that's our
petition.
convention experience.
I'm gonna start a petition to get y'all a monitor, like a big monitor and a laptop, and just like here, something for the love of God,
or at least an iPad, maybe something.
An iPad, yeah, upgrade the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, something a little bigger. My goodness.
I know my friends are like, oh, we're doing this cool panel, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could see it. Record it. I'll watch it when I get home, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I get on a panel sometimes, but then it's a different view though too.
Yeah.
So
or running around to like book signings or stuff like that, but none of that going on this year.
Yeah.
I remember one year I did 14 different things during Celebration.
Oh wow.
Like those individual book signings, panels. Yeah, I had like 10 signings, 3 panels. I don't even know what I had. A stint in the family room or whatever, teaching kids. Like,
My
That's
goodness.
right.
busiest celebration ever. Yeah.
I remember they did do that. They pulled random people into the family room, like from all over the map.
Yeah, I remember we did this big it was Chris Reif and I, and it was like in the middle of the whole like Haynes workshop manuals and stuff, and so we did a thing with the kids like what would the inside of a Star Destroyer be like, and we worked out a map with the kids like, okay, what's over, what's here, and then where do we put this, or and they would just shout out suggestions, and it was just, I forget, it was crazy. So we had a big it was a whiteboard or just like a giant piece of paper that we were scribbling on with the Sharpie. And
Where's the bathroom? That's always the one.
yeah, that was on there.
like-
That was on there. The kids were like, over here.
Yeah. It's
What
important.
other things would they have in the spaceship, and stuff like that?
It's about it. It's a,
Yeah.
it's a bathroom and guns.
Yeah.
That's it. My goodness.
and a Starbucks.
And a Starbucks. Yeah. We need Starbucks in Star Wars, right?
So, kind of general art question. What's your favorite thing to draw? Because I can imagine, like, just looking at this print, Chewbacca looks like he could either be a lot of fun or just
Or a nightmare.
Yeah, pretty much like with all the
Yeah.
make sure the fur looks right.
Yeah. There's a lot of that back and forth on the fur where like you get it too detailed or too many individual hairs, and he starts to look like, I don't know, like a wire brush or something. Like no, that's too much. So I can go back and paint it with broader strokes a little more and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I've done Chewie, I don't know how many times. Leia a lot. I mean, I've probably painted Leia maybe the most out of the characters. A lot of time I work in the Falcon somewhere. I think somebody said that to me recently. I think it might have been Joe that said, like, wait, you notice most of your celebration prints take place in the Falcon. I'm like, yeah, I know. Kind of.
Well,
on
you already
purpose.
have the backdrop.
It's kind of
It's
stringing
already
like
there.
because like the Falcon. I mean, even more so after Solo. I mean, it's literally like a character in the movies.
Oh, yeah.
And now with the voice of L3 and stuff, I mean, she's there or whatever, but it's certainly a prime setting and like almost a character in the movies that's essential to the storytelling.
What's in 7 of the movies?
Yeah.
Most of the films, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the Falcon's almost like R2 and 3PO in that respect, where it's like it's there, it witnesses so many things, but I don't know. It's non-vocal though, most of the time.
Yeah. But so much personality in that hunk of junk.
But it has the most peculiar dialect.
It does.
So do you enjoy like drawing Leia? Like
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and she's probably the most of my celebration prints too. Like it's
like do like I know like you get this idea, and regardless if you like or don't like drawing the characters, but you have to do the idea. Like I could see that coming up. Like
kind of, yeah. It's like once you got the idea, it's like, okay, well, I'm committed to doing that. Like, but Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Leia or like the Falcon, even Chewie. I mean, all the classic characters. It's like who I grew up on. And the whole series of Unseen Scenes stuff is all classic trilogy so far. One day I'll have to expand it out, but yeah, those classic characters though that we grew up on are always closest to me. The ones I fall back on probably the most.
Yeah, I feel like the trilogy we grew up with is kind of like, that's the one. Like, gonna not age myself, but the opposite of that. I'm a prequels person. Our listeners know that because I don't shut up about how much I love the prequels, so that's how strange I am. But I feel like there's so much of a different style in between the three trilogies. I could see like you just kind of honing in on like, this is the one, like, and that's kind of the brand. I like see how that could happen because the trilogies look, at least to me, so different. But I guess on the flip side of Jim's question, is there anything that you're like, I'm gonna have to draw that one day, and I don't know how that's gonna go. Like, maybe it's a little intimidating. It's not like you don't want to or whatever, but like something that you're like, one day that's gonna have to happen, and I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it.
I used to like be able to keep it's like the whole saga has gotten so big now. It used to be like, oh, I've drawn every character, like I think at least once officially, practically. But now there's so many characters, it's like impossible. All the shows and everything, and now it's just down to like what I get hired to do. So there's definitely characters that I want to do at some point, but nobody's asked me to, or there hasn't been the need yet. Like, I mean, Mando and Grogu even would just be cool.
If you really need somebody just to ask you to draw something, I could step in at any point.
I got ideas. Listen, I've been looking.
It's like I got so many jobs to do. It's like I wish I could do this stuff for fun, but it's like
I can't pay you, but I could just ask you.
I could be real nice about it.
I've done Mando once, but it was more of a retouching job. It was more photographic based, but and I guess I just kind of did a Grogu a little bit, but it's a celebration thing.
Well,
it's very tiny. I wouldn't call it an illustration exactly, but yeah, it would be cool to get more into the shows, but I know the shows are very self-contained. Most of they don't want to get too much into the EU and mixed up and all that yet. So you got the Mando stuff. It's all everything's on screen. Nothing's they're starting to get into the comics, I think, now, but it's mostly retelling the stories that we already seen on screen.
It's the Filoni verse, as I called it.
Yeah.
They're all.
I hadn't gotten to play in the Filoni verse exactly, so that would be cool. But and it's so close to classic trilogy because 5 years from Jedi, basically that whole era is cool. It's like I want to play in it, but I can't. Yeah, you can't touch it. It's like you can look at it. You can't move anything though.
Right. It's like right behind the door. Like you're so
I can't
close.
do an
You're just in
unseen
the next
scenes
room.
thing there. They wouldn't let me. It'd just be like
Max Rebo's there. You could just like date the
know,
life
there
of
you go.
Max Rebo while he's.
I'm gonna do the behind the scenes of Max Rebo. Like what happened?
How did he avoid
crawling away from the exploded barge?
That's
Pablo will go, he doesn't have feet.
That's it. You could do Max Rebo getting away from the barge, the explosion of the barge, and then explosion of the nightclub in
and
Book
again
of
he's
Boba
running
Fett.
with his feet hands.
With his
or
hands.
whatever.
With his feet hands, yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't
However
have
he
has
runs.
2 appendages.
Right.
Or I guess his ears are flippers technically. So the official anatomy of Max Rebo is
he just has the feet and no arms.
Yeah, he's got
despite-
the feet, hands, and then flippers. Yeah, there's no.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, I think especially since I think that was always the intent behind the puppet and everything in Jedi. But then at some point, somebody added legs to him. Like
somebody screwed
Kenner
up
probably
him.
did.
Yeah, somebody screwed him up.
Kenner gave him the
somewhere.
legs and the big diaper thing, whatever, and
The big diaper thing. Yeah. What
got
what a guy.
sumo shorts on or whatever. You know?
Right.
He's like,
What a guy. We love Max.
I know that
Rebo here.
irritates Pablo though.
I get it. It's like just ruined everything. Like, someone was just like, yeah, he has legs, and it's like,
He
no.
has legs. No.
You think in small brain. We need to think big brain. No legs.
No legs.
Just hands and flippers. That's it. This is an alien.
Which really makes you think, how did he get out of the 2 explosions?
Right. How is this guy living?
It's like flying away with earwings, you know.
I'm just trying to figure out how he gets his feet up while he's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, if I was
how
gonna
does he
say-
sit in that little pillow in the middle? Yeah,
How did he?
jump up and
I was
down
gonna
out of
say
there. I don't know.
He cloned himself, and somehow Max Rebo returned.
Yeah, somehow Max Rebo,
Put that on a T-shirt. I'll buy that.
Max Rebo has returned.
We don't know how. We don't know why. We won't explain it to you.
It's all these deformed Max Rebos and cylinders. Like,
Watch if that's
It didn't
your
grow right.
celebration
It's like-
piece. If that's the next celebration piece, I want one.
somehow Rebo returned.
I'd cry. I might cry now. That's funny as hell. Yeah, that's good.
And what happened to
What a
everybody
guy.
else? Did he just like, I don't know, Sice Noodles? He like ran over all of them on the way out. Like just knocked them
Yeah.
over. Getting out of here.
Peaced out. My goodness.
He's just out for himself.
He is. He's so self-centered. Yeah.
What a selfish.
Oh, geez,
boy.
now he's like a jerk. Look at it.
What have we done?
Oh no, what happened?
Isn't the band like it just isn't it just Max Rebo? Like the band name is just like something with Max Rebo, not like
And the whatevers.
like,
Yeah.
not like the modal nodes. Like,
I don't know. Is he performing with the remnants of the modal nodes too, or is
that
you know all the Biffs look the same? I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
whoa,
Do they?
whoa!
Oh no! What have we done?
Is that Finger Don or is it the drummer? I don't know. Who is that?
Did they have a drummer?
I think didn't they? It looked like he
Did
was.
that-
I don't know. It looked like he was hitting like a fan or something. I don't know what that. I don't know. That droid's got traditional drums in the new band, but
I don't know all the
Yeah, it's true.
intricacies of the jizz music.
yeah.
Every
We're gonna leave that
every
one.
time it's like, what? It doesn't matter how many times I hear that. It's like,
And for anybody who's wondering, that is actually
up.
what it
Yeah.
was called.
that's real. That's real. Like,
I believe
Oh.
they tried to change that with the new canon. They're like, yeah, we're not calling it that anymore.
you can't change that. How dare I will never let
I don't
you.
think they
I
have
will
addressed
listen.
it yet in New Canon, have they? I don't know.
I don't know, but I will riot.
I want to know who
in the
that Biff
streets.
is, though. There was no guitar Biff in the Cantina band, so I don't know who plays multiple instruments, or it's one of their cousins or something. Like one of them
These
was
are the
into rock
mysteries.
and he has a guitar. It's like I'm not playing that. I'm not even talking about it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not even gonna call it that. He's like
The space punk
the space
hanging out
punk.
with the kids in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, where is both bands? There's like one left of each band. They're like,
Right.
let's get together. We need a drummer.
They're now
Get that
Simon and
droid.
Garfunkel.
Thank you, Google. I typed in fingering Dan and the modal nodes, and it says, "Did you mean fingering Dan?"
No, no.
No,
No, I
this is
didn't.
going worse.
it's heard about the jizz music. It knows. It knows. Oh Lord.
Good luck with those Google ads you're gonna get now.
Yeah, right? Thanks. If this goes on YouTube, it's demonetized immediately. It's just goofed. Not that we do that, but it'd be over. Oh God. That's fantastic.
Okay. And on that note,
I think
don't wanna-
any
no.
chance of a serious interview is over now. We're just chilling. Oh,
So,
goodness gracious.
Anything else you want to bring up, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. I know my brain's all celebration, work, lots of projects going on. Nothing I can talk about,
I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to keep you for too long, so we can let you
And
go.
also, let's not get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, Celebration. They've mostly announced everything by this point.
I think so. Yeah, and there's I think some more guests coming still, and not sure what else is going on.
Yeah, I know there's a few things that are still in the ether, but that's about it.
Yeah,
I know they're promoting some show. That's a big deal. That I don't know, whatever. Some Obi something.
Yeah, that's what we'll be watching on the iPhone.
On the iPhone.
It's like great 2-episode premiere. Let's watch it on the iPhone.
That's it. I'm like
stuck in another city. Yeah,
they timed it so well. I'm like they
did.
They premiered the first, like the original date. It's like you premiered the first episode on the day. Like the most diehard Star Wars fans are going to be on planes.
Right. I know. And everybody's going to be worried. They're all going to be like, and we're going to have to watch it on whatever we can find. Like sign into Disney Plus and hopefully on the hotel TV or something. Because we're all going to be worried about spoilers. Like somebody's going to tell me something tomorrow. I got to watch it tonight.
Oh,
yeah,
and they will.
You can avoid.
It's
not like you can avoid it. You're in a
a
convention center full of Star Wars nerds, which I say with love and affection. But you're screwed. It's like we get a small concession for not being there that I could just watch it in peace. Like they're like, hey, if you didn't get to go to Celebration here, have some Kenobi. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And that's it. And you know what? And I'll be thrilled. But I won't, I'll still wish I was there.
Yeah.
It's going to have premiered and in 30 minutes after it premiered, somebody's just going to wander around the convention hall going, oh man, I can't believe Aunt Brew's a clone. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah. Someone's going to be stupid about it.
Yeah.
Just, the fandom menace will show up, and it'll just be ridiculous.
Yeah,
right.
It's bad enough on Facebook with somebody blurting out something before the.
Yeah.
Lord. We'll let you get back to your prep and your family.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw you shush somebody off on the side.
I know.
I've done the same thing.
Coming in, it's like no. All right, you need something to eat. Okay, just a minute.
Is there any way that people what's the best way that people can get in contact with you, follow your artwork and that sort of stuff?
Mostly Facebook. I need to be better on my Instagram and Twitter and stuff, but it's Facebook / Trevas Illustration. No space or anything. What is my Instagram? I think it's Chris_Trevas. Which I need to be better about.
Clearly update.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
it's clearly a priority.
There's a little bit. Yeah, you'd think it's visual. I would be updating it better. But yeah, mostly on Facebook. And my website's christrevas.com, but I still need to finish that still. I started redoing it a while back, and it's got a store on it, but
there you go.
There you go.
I gotta get the portfolio section back in there. And and non-Star Wars wise, I did a ton of stuff for ET that's gonna be coming out this summer. So
nice.
Pretty much everything ET, everywhere. I did all these character illustrations that'll be on Reese's Pieces packaging and toy packaging and everywhere.
Is it an anniversary thing? Because that seems very random.
Yeah. No, it's 20 years now, I think, right? No, I'm 40. Jeez, what was I saying? 20. 40 years.
No, it came out slightly after I was born, so I think 20, you were right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah.
And I'm 5, Jim.
1982. Yeah, so big 40-year anniversary, so there's lots of stuff coming out.
Nice.
And they're doing all the cross promotions with Reese's Pieces and various foods and whatever they're doing. I don't know. I just heard Reese's Pieces bag and I'm like, cool.
I like Reese's Pieces. I'll do that.
Also, thank you for saying Reese's Pieces. I had a viral TikTok about how it's Reese's Pieces and not Reese's Pieces, and y'all can fight me. So I appreciate you. Yeah, it's a thing.
Really?
It drives me
Who does
bananas.
Reese's
Clearly,
Pieces?
I went off about it for about a minute, and TikTok liked that. So I got angry. I don't remember why, but I just did. I was like, listen, you're changing how you pronounce a word. Just because you think it's Reese's. I'm like, the man's name was Reese, and it's his pieces.
It's his pieces.
It's his peanut butter cups. What are you doing? But anyway,
I'm just gonna go ahead and say
full
GIF right now too.
I like GIF too. Listen,
and AT-AT. I'm gonna say AT-AT.
I'll allow it.
Well,
listen,
Jif is a peanut butter, so it's
Jif is a peanut butter. It's all peanut butter.
Yeah, it's not
That's what makes
copyright
me angry.
infringement or something. You can't do that.
Apparently, I have a problem with peanut butter names. Whatever. I'm sorry. I'm tired.
all right. For real, we'll let you go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. Huh?
Yes,
There
Not
you
you,
go.
Nicole. You can just sit and
No.
watch Obi-Wan at your home. But
Thank you. I will. I'll be there in spirit, and one day I'll make it to Celebration.
And with that, we have wrapped up another episode of Talkin Tauntauns. Thanks again to Chris Trevas for joining us. It was absolutely a pleasure to get to talk to you. If you would like to reach us, you can reach us through email, talkintauntauns@aiptcomics.com. You can find us on Twitter @talkintauntauns, or you can join our Patreon through aiptcomics.com and join us on Discord, and you can have discussions with us all the time. So with that, we will see you again next week.